Vilna, or Vilnius, was considered the Jerusalem of the North. How important Jerusalem is for the Jewish people, you think about that Vilnius was Jerusalem of the North. So you see how big it is and how uh, proud I am of being a Litvak. So I would say 3 out of 5 scholars of Judaism actually they come from Lithuania somehow.
It's Lithuanian Dream Podcast. Each week, we share ideas from contemporary Lithuania. Hi, Carlos. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, thanks. Hi, Ruta. Thanks for having me here today. It's a honor to be here. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to share my experience with you guys.
Awesome. To start with, could you tell us what is your connection to Lithuania?
I'm Lithuanian. My father was born in a small village near Biržai that's called Nemunelio Radviliškis. And he immigrated many years ago. Unfortunately, he passed away also many years ago. But the Lithuanian soul is still, living in me.
There was a bigger community of Lithuanians in Brazil, is there? Or were you the only family that was a bit different from everybody else?
Well, we are a little bit different than everybody else because we're Litvaks. Mm-hmm. However, there is a quite significant community here. There was a wave of immigration until 1940s, even after the war. I cannot give you like an exact figure, but I can give an idea the numbers I hear and I try to research. So that wave is about 40,000 people immigrated here. So it seems like the descendants, all the Lithuanians, are about 200,000, but I would say in different generations already.
So Litvaks,
Litvaks are, it's part of it, but it's very small. So we're numbered about maybe tops to 5,000 people on the Litvaks.
So can you tell us more about Litvaks?
Most of the Jews in Lithuania, they're either left or they perished during the war. I believe the Litvaks in Lithuania are not a big number either today, but I think they're numbered by the Brazilian Litvaks. So we are Lithuanians with a Jewish religion. And we have our own culture, which is actually, we love potatoes, we love cucumbers, we love, bread, so on. So there are similarities. However, it's a different religion. There's a Catholic, predominantly Lithuanian community here in Sao Paulo. And there's another one in Curitiba, which is sizable, I would say. And there's Sao Paulo is a place called Vila Zelina on the east side of the city. And they're very active. I have to admit, I only met them just recently when I was nominated the Honorary Consul of Lithuania in Brazil. So I got to, be closer to this community, which is surprisingly interesting. They keep all the language. They have a Lithuanian schools. They teach the language. I'm not a good student, but I actually attend some of those classes from time to time. I try to learn because it's quite a difficult language. And they do all the Jonines, all the Kunigelas, the potato. It's very interesting. They keep Lithuania alive in the big city of Sao Paulo. It's quite remarkable.
So there's a lot. Even kugelis comes from from Jewish culture. So we have a lot that we share.
Yeah, it's at the end we're all Lithuanians. I'm proud of it. I really enjoy being part of it as well.
How did you establish this link with Lithuania? So your father came to Brazil, and then you were involved with the community. But then when you grow up, then you started going to Lithuania, or did you always went to Lithuania? And how did it go?
Yeah, well, it's quite interesting. I had a Lithuanian passport for a long time, so I went to visit once. It was winter. It was not a good experience because it's really cold, but I could get the feeling by coming back home somehow. And then I start to see what could I do for Lithuania. I would like to, to give back a little bit. Then my first contact with this organization called Global Lithuanian Leaders. My first Lithuanian contact was Katrina Stankute. Not sure if you know her. We're still friends. And then I started to do this voluntary work by helping Lithuanian companies going global, exporting mostly in Latin America, which is my area of expertise. I've been working in Latin America for years. So I start making more friends. I start to be more involved. And then I was awarded this Global Lithuanian Leaders Prize. And I think it was December 2015. I went to the Presidentura to get this awarded for then President Dalia Grybauskaitė. So I got this award from her hands. I made more friends that day. Sometime after that, I was invited to become Honorary Consul of Lithuania. I accepted right away with a good, proudly accepted that. And since then, there's some bureaucracy to get approved by the local government, so on. And then once I was approved, I started doing this job by also helping Lithuanian companies also to improve the links between the Jewish community, the Litvaks, with Lithuania as a country. So I'm glad I could do it. So Lithuania now is more known in the Litvak community than it was before. There's a great link between even the General Consulate and the Jewish organizations here in Sao Paulo and Brazil. We did this exhibition of the Litvaks, tells this history about Litvaks in Sao Paulo. That exposition is traveling around the country. It's been to North Brazil, Salvador just recently. So Lithuania is more and more. I hope my friends don't get sick of me talking about Lithuania every day. I hope not, because they're still my friends. Because I have social media with Lithuania every day, 5 to 6 postings per day. I try to promote Lithuanian businesses. I try to promote Lithuania as a business destination. Just recently, we brought a Brazil FinTech Association to FinTech in Lithuania last week with the Mita and Minister of Economy. One of the speakers was a Brazilian guy here. I'm happy that I brought him. There was even a journalist from Brazil who did cover that scenario and the event. So you're going to hear from Lithuania in the big newspaper in Brazil in a few weeks. So that's exciting for me. I really like it. And it's a matter also for me to have my father close to me. Although he passed away many years, that's the way I have him close to me.
Oh wow, this is really big things you are doing actually, and
Thank
it's
you.
incredible that you work as a link between two countries. I always thought that Litvaks are the major. There are a lot of Litvaks who went to South Africa, but I never heard about Brazil that much. And you are working as well with the Litvak community of bringing them closer
Definitely.
to
Yes.
to Lithuania. So what's the work? What are the challenges?
Well, the challenges is history. There is a past we cannot, conceal or cannot deny. Many people are hurt by that. But you know what? Look at you. Look all the people I know. Things are different. Cannot blame people today for things that happened in the past. It's also very hard to look at events with today's eye without considering the circumstances back then. So what I'm trying to show them, there's a new story. There's lots of new people. It's a modern country, very well positioned in the modern world. So things are much different. And I think I could manage to bring more people on my side.
So there were a few occasions when our government officials made the, apology, and they talked about reconciliation. There was, I think, Algirdas Brazauskas, president, he talked about it. What do you think still need to be put in place from government or from people that would, sort of fill in that gap?
I believe Lithuania is the right path. I'm really, I'm really relieved that Lithuania has a very good, I would say, attitude regarding this situation. So I could see that, the Prime Minister actually himself is a Litvak as well. I can see that the government always do not deny. I think it's a process. we have to take in consideration Lithuania is a free country, is only 25, let's say 24 years as an independent country, free. There's a lot of things going on. There's another past that actually has nothing to do with let's say, the Litvaks. So there's a lot of things to reconcile, as I understand. But I think the Lithuanian officials are in the right direction. I understand there's a lot of sensitive matters in the way. It's not easy to deal with those. I understand. But I think Lithuania, I think, is in the same path as Germany in the terms of like how to deal with this situation. I think it's doing the right thing. There's more people like me, which is actually, I'm a Litvak, so I can talk about it with no problem. And I think that's what the government's doing. So I know the Honorary Consul in Paraguay is also Litvak. So we can link the things better because you know both of the sides. And it's a work, you cannot please everybody, but at least you can educate people about what's currently being done, which is very important. And I really can tell it's a good attitude from the officials in Lithuania.
For sure. Every country has the history that we deal with, and then we work on it. And as long as we manage to build bridges, what you are doing, that's something that can actually give value and create the future, better future. So talking about that business side, so you are coming from technology and the printing industry in Brazil. Correct. And then you connect the businesses from Brazil to Lithuania.
Yeah, I actually do not only Brazil, mostly with Latin America, and by history in both technology and printing, it's all over Americas. It's from the States to Tierra del Fuego here in Argentina, down south. So that's what I've been working most of my life. And it's a business in transformation. So technology changes like, I don't know, I would say, I'll risk to say technology changes every 2 to 3 months now. It is not like it was before. Printing is also getting something from this revolution, and so it's a market in constant change, and people who do not understand that change will perish, which is unfortunately I haven't seen over the past years. So people sometimes they're really reluctant to adjust to new technologies, or at least to embrace, or even to look into it. So there are many companies they're going out of business because they don't want to, at least look into new technologies. It's a growing market, of course. If you compare, let's say, if you have printing equipment from Lithuania to export into a country like Brazil, which is 200 million people. It's a huge market. We have many big cities with more than 300,000 people all over the country. There are more than 40 cities like this. So you can see it's a huge market for not only printing, but any kind of technology that comes from Lithuania. A friend of mine, actually, you probably know him, he came up with this new blender, which is like a noiseless. You see that thing, Milo? So it's quite interesting. I'm going to send you the link, which is quite interesting. New product actually created and built in Lithuania. So I can tell that if we talk about technology, Lithuania is the right path. That's so because of the weather conditions, because of the geographical conditions. I think technology is the best bet Lithuania can take, and I could see lots of it just my last trip last week. So Lithuania is going for it, and I think this is actually has more added value into the product. So I think it's the future looks very bright for Lithuania. It's going the same path as technology compared to Israel. Israel is like a small country. Of course, they have like agriculture, but the bulk business in Israel is technology. The ways you use it there in Germany, all many technology was created there. So, and I think Lithuania is following the same path. And just going back to the original question, so there's a very good market in not only Brazil, but the whole Latin America for Lithuanian companies to come here.
Okay, wow, for sure. Israel is one of the hotspots for life sciences, and Lithuania is going after that one too.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. I actually, 2 years ago, during this Baltic Life Sciences.
Life Sciences Baltic, yeah.
Yes, sorry about that. It's a good friend of mine actually was a keynote speaker there. I brought him from Brazil, and he was very surprised about how Lithuania is. So it's very warm capital, very sympathetic city. So that's how he called that. It's people who comes there, they love it. They love the people, they love the city. So it's just a matter for us to be more into promoting the country, which is something I'm trying to do as well. I finally got an airline that actually agreed to sponsor a visit of tourism journalists into Lithuania next year. So I'm going to bring with me, it's been there, I've been working on it for the past 2-3 years, and finally happened. I'm going to bring about 12 to 15 journalists on the area of tourism into Lithuania. So they're going to promote Lithuania here in Brazil throughout the country. And there's exciting things happen next year as well. So it's the year of the Litvaks and the year of the Goguen of Lithuania. So it's very exciting. Next year is very exciting. Well, it's the official year of the Jews of Lithuania, and also the Goguen of Vilna, which is one of the wizard. Goguen means wizard in Hebrew. And we are also preparing here with the local community, the Jewish community, the celebrations of the Goguen of Vilna and the Litvak. It's going to be around August. It's going to be throughout the city, maybe a few other cities. And I'll send you all the information on it. Maybe you have a chance to come down and see it for yourself.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I think I saw a documentary about it, that the Goguen of Vilnius was one of the schools of thought that actually developed quite a lot of thinkers that went out to the world and created quite amazing things. And they were revolutionary thinkers within, different schools of Judaism, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Vilna or Vilnius was considered the Jerusalem of the North. So, and how important Jerusalem is for the Jewish people. You think about that Vilnius was Jerusalem of the North. So you see how big it is and how proud I am of being a Litvak. So it's one of the best, I would say 3 out of 5 scholars of Judaism, actually, they come from Lithuania somehow.
Wow. And so it's a perfect opportunity next year to visit for people who have never been, and there will be events happening, right? So it is really exciting, and for sure I will plan my trip not too far from Berlin just to see what's happening.
That'll be great. Yeah. I'll be there for sure. Where
did you get this, drive? So it's the connection with your father.
And that connection hit me big time. And I always want to give back to the country as much as I could. And I think I can do even more. And just, so it's part of my day. I have, of course, my other businesses, but Lithuania takes about a third of my day every day. I dedicated myself to it. And I do it with a great pleasure. I like it very much.
Well, this is really amazing to see, the example of a person from Global Lithuanian Leaders as well, who is doing so much for Lithuania, so far away, but still, you basically work for a country quite a lot without, ambassador of our country in.
Well, I'm an honorary consul, so I do my job here.
So what's the job? Do you know the job description? What did you sign up for?
Well, it's a matter to represent the country. So whatever I can do to keep the good standing of Lithuania as a country here, I do it, not only with the Jewish community, but other communities. So I help also the General Consulate with some initiatives. I give some ideas. I make the connections between the Jewish community, as I said. Help Lithuanian companies. The other day, we prevent a company to get into a scheme. So some criminals, they pose themselves as a company here. but they were not. It was a legitimate company, but they're like imposters. So I could find out there was imposters, so I prevent them to losing quite a lot of money. And so the things, it's more, I would say, what my rule here is more related to economics. I would say like economy diplomacy, also into cultural on the Jewish side mostly. Also, if I can, I help the local community as well. So that's what I do. I try pretty much promoting Lithuanian, defending when it's needed, clarifying things about people don't know much about the country. So it's always like a misunderstanding about a few things in history mostly. So that's what I do.
And do you, as a businessman, the good business is driven by good goals, right? So
Correct.
what kind of goals do you set to yourself? Is it, one goal? And what are the short-term goals? But maybe there's a vision. What do you want to see in like 10 years? Now you already work for 5 years with Lithuanian businesses. But now, you can see it, what happened, and then sort of plan more.
Well,
so
if we talk about, let's talk about Lithuania. My goal is to promote more and more Lithuanian business outside Lithuania. So it's a small market. The domestic market is very small, so we need bigger markets like Brazil and other that are actually more open to new technologies and to new companies. So my goal is to see at least 15 companies, Lithuanian companies established here, and also to see Brazilian companies investing in Lithuania. Ultimate goal is to have a bigger economy in Lithuania and better living conditions for Lithuanians residing in Lithuania.
Okay, well, it sounds really good. I hope you work with the government on that as well, but it sounds like you do, so it's really good. We had our second interview was with Mantas Katinas, Invest Lithuania, the head.
I know him. Yeah.
So he was as well really passionate about this goal, and I'm so happy that you work together and know each other and work on that.
We need to attract young people like you to come back.
For sure,
so,
yes.
and we need to have better living conditions because you're used to better living conditions in Germany, like many others in London. So, and we also, unfortunately, we have this time bomb in our hands, which is the population is getting older. People don't have much kids. So we need to bring people back to Lithuania and to work for Lithuania in Lithuania. I'm sure that you work for Lithuania, of course, in Germany. But if there's a way to attract young people back to the country, that's going to make a big difference. And actually, in living conditions, I think Lithuania did a great job over the past 15 years. But I think we need to do more and more and to help it, to even to increase that. So people will be more attracted to come back and live there again.
For sure, that is one of the goals. And how do you think we can attract businesses from Brazil, for example, when they come and see our country? What are the things that they're amazed about, or they say, okay, I didn't expect this?
I think, first of all, that we have very good talent. People are very talented there. I would say, if you go to the business side, a good, fair number of Lithuanian young people, they speak English, which is very important. Infrastructure is good. And I think the business environment is getting better. You can tell by the economy side, the permits, they're much easier. The startup visa, I'm not sure if we're aware of those things. So those things are making Lithuania very attractive for business because it's easier to get there. And then you have the European Union open to you. So that's it becomes very attractive. I think it's also in the right path to attract more business. It has to be very easy to do business with. And Brazil, unfortunately, is not that way. It's getting better, but it's really far away from what Lithuania is doing. So Lithuania is more attractive and would say business friendly than Brazil at this point. And not only the domestic market wouldn't be enough, but what I promote is it's the gateway to the European Union, which is about people market, which is with high potential for purchasing and has a lot of power of purchasing. So I think Lithuania is becoming more and more attractive. One thing I think we could do better is have more links, which is unfortunately still getting better. But I think, if I want to go to Lithuania today, I have to go through Frankfurt or I have to go to Istanbul. But there are not many, connections between even the states. So I think if we work on the way to connect to the world, it would make things easier. I know things are being done, but I think on the, let's say, air transportation side, I think we should be more aggressive on this side.
For sure. Like knowing that nowadays, people fly rather than go for the roads, we should improve the roads of the planes, get more planes in Lithuania.
Get more planes. I know it's a difficult business. I know how tough is the airline business. But if there's a way to attract more flights into Lithuania from different capitals, I think would help a lot.
Okay, well, this is great. So we have benefits and we have some great suggestions we can share with. So it's important to improve all the time. And so we always ask this question at the end of the episode, which is, what is your dream for Lithuania for upcoming decades and centuries? What would be the big dream? I guess we already talked about it a bit.
Exactly.
But clear, direction for us to go.
Well, there's so many. I think to Lithuania to be the best place to live and work in the world. It's a dream. You can dream whatever you like, but you can get there by having people like you doing what you're doing, by having lots of people that I know they're doing a great job for Lithuania. And I think to make Lithuania known in the world is a very good place to live and work and, also live in peace. So I think it's achievable, but it would take a little time. And I have a personal dream, but I cannot fulfill that dream, but it's in my heart every time I do. I would love to go there with my father, but it's not possible anymore. But I take in my heart, in my mind, every time I go there, so I feel it. So that's one of the things it brings me to Lithuania all the time. It's a I would say unbreakable connection.
Thank you for sharing your story, and it's so amazing to see a person who has such a strong connection with Lithuania, and for sure you embed everything that is good about our country, and you selfless work for a country that your father comes from and you come from. It's quite inspiring for sure. And thank you for sharing your thoughts with our listeners. And hope to see you in Lithuania next year then.
Oh, definitely. Even this year, maybe. Who knows? Yeah. So, well, thanks for this opportunity. Thanks for, this moment here. It was. I always like to talk about Lithuania, so you got me here. It's something I really like. And, thanks for your job in also promoting Lithuania on this fantastic initiative.
It's Lithuanian Dream Podcast. Each week, we share ideas from contemporary Lithuania.